You know, I'm sure many of you out there in the world are just like me. You love video games, you love gaming, you love pretty much everything about it. There is an unnecessarily amount of hate and negativity around gaming these days. I contributed to that for a little bit, but you know, I got over that. It's one of the things where you kind of move on and you just say, either I'm going to enjoy gaming for what it is or I'm going to stop gaming, right? If all you're going to do is complain all day, 24/7, are you really a gamer anyway? I mean, I understand critique, and I think that's fine. I think that should be something that, you know, every gamer should have the right to do that if something is a little off or anti-consumer or something like that. But every single day, is that something that we really need to see? Is that really accomplishing anything? Is, you know, Microsoft or Sony or any of these companies going to really care what one person says? Are they going to rush out a game to make you happy? Let me tell you something. These companies don't care at all about the individual. Once I got over myself and realized that I'm not the only gamer in the world and that, you know, they're going to make games that are going to appeal to me. They're going to make some games that don't appeal to me. They're going to make games that appeal to a very small audience that is me or that isn't as well. Like, this is the way that video games work. Now, this is something that I feel like Microsoft has very much kind of figured out is content is important, and while exclusive content isn't as the top one priority, I think for Microsoft right now, I actually think Game Pass is for them. Whether or not that's correct or not, I think that's up to the individual. But I personally will say, like something like Call of Duty, I don't care that that's not exclusive to Xbox. I care that that's coming to Game Pass day one, and I'll be able to play it there, and I'll be able to probably talk my friends into downloading it off of Game Pass much easier than I would have been able to, you know, talk them into buying, you know, dropping it $80 on it. And it's not the whole, oh, well, Xbox fan. I can't get people on PlayStation to buy Vanguard either. You know, I basically was running that by myself or with my brother, who I game share with to begin with. So, you know, I bought the game on both platforms. I usually do that. This will be great to be able to kind of put some of that money elsewhere and maybe into a game that I, you know, haven't played before. But this type of announcement, when you see it, when you see people show excitement for video games, I love that, right? How many of you out there take time off work because a video game is coming out? I've been there. Halos, Gears of Wars, Call of Duties. I've taken time off work for a ton of games. For the launch of the Xbox One, I took time off of work. You know, I stayed up, went to the midnight launch, was up till 6 o'clock in the morning playing games, installing games. First game I played was Rise, Son of Rome, but I was also downloading Killer Instinct. So yeah, a lot of good times there. But the important thing is that we get this content that is appealing to us. And, you know, I think the fact that so many people were looking at something like Starfield and trying to say that it was trash or whatever, you know, I just felt like that's such a misnomer. That's such a negative way to kind of look at things. And we wonder why we don't get gameplay anymore, right? Like, studios are very much not into showing gameplay, and we're like, whoa, why are they not showing gameplay? Well, that's why they're not showing gameplay, folks. It's pretty simple, really. But at the end of the day, you know, listen, Microsoft, they're rebounding. People are excited about the stuff they're offering. Even you know, Starfield, I think it looks great. I'm psyched for it. So, you know, I'm looking forward to jumping into that. I'm sure a lot of you are feeling the same way. But anyway, I want to get into the video. Sorry to ramble on for a little bit. I know it's one of those things that I do from time to time, and I appreciate it. It's the ADHD in me. So what can I say? I'm sure some of you are exactly the same way. Let's get started. So once again, I'm reminded that the industry doesn't really take to fanboyism. Yeah, there's going to be some people that do that, and that is kind of interesting when, you know, an Aaron Greenberg tweets out something or whatever. But for the most part, like, people that actually make the video games and people like Phil Spencer, they're very much folks that just enjoy video games, and I'm kind of that mind myself. Now, I'm not saying you can't have a preference or whatever, because I think we all do. I certainly do. But when you see actual developers say stuff like they're excited for a competing game, then I think that really gets that kind of showcases exactly where my thought process is, and that, you know, it's not as cutthroat as people say. So Cory Barlog, the producer of God of War, he was actually the director of the one from 2018, is actually excited for Starfield and he says he's going to take time off work for the release. God of War writer and designer Cory Barlog has expressed to be truly excited for Microsoft's Bethesda's upcoming Starfield. A lot being said and written about Barlog's upcoming sequel to 2018 God of War Ragnarok, and on Twitter, the designer replied to a tweet about internet user interest between God of War and Starfield. The presented graph appears to show global interest in both search terms for over the past 12 months. Barlog didn't respond to the comparison, but merely said that he's extremely excited for the upcoming RPG, and that he will actually take time off work upon the game's release in order to play it. Very classy response. He's really done kind of a good job. He said, "I'm so effing excited for Starfield, I'm taking time off when that comes out." So Microsoft and Bethesda obviously showed more from Starfield during the month. And, you know, Starfield's going to have a longer main story than Fallout 4, than the Elder Scrolls 5 Skyrim, and it's going to allow players to, you know, steal ships and do all kinds of crazy stuff. But, you know, it's nice that, in my opinion, real recognizes real. Okay, even when I was a quote-unquote huge Xbox fanboy or whatever, I gave God of War 2018 the props that it deserved, right? I gave it a 10 out of 10 when I reviewed it. It's an absolutely phenomenal game. My favorite game of all time, in fact. So Barlog is a real guy. He plays real games. He knows games. He knows what's good. And here he is saying, you know, listen, I'm so excited for this game. You know, I'm taking time off work. That kills a fanboy narrative. I love to see that. You know, I'm not saying that people can't be excited or that people can't be, you know, one way or the other about it. But what I am saying is that it's so very nice and refreshing to see when stuff like this happens, how, you know, how we see real people react, right? And yes, the fanboys aren't happy with that, right? Like the super fanboys are like, oh, he's just saying that. Oh, he's just blah, blah, blah. You know, but listen, this is great news, man. This is really fantastic stuff. Here we have a guy who's made a top class game and continues to do some amazing things, and he's excited about an Xbox game. That, you know, that's just something that we don't see a lot of these days, and so props to him. Yeah, you know, people get a little bit annoyed when Phil Spencer is always, you know, it seems like he's constantly praising, you know, the competition and stuff like that. But listen, I just feel like this is a really nice kind of gesture. It's classy. Not everything is life or death with these video games. I've said it once, I've said it a million times. Video games are meant to be fun. If we're not having fun with video games, then what are we doing? Honestly, what are we doing if we're not having fun with video games? Like, what are we doing at that particular point? You know, they're meant to be fun. They're meant to take our mind off of things, to like take us to places to enjoy ourselves and kind of get lost for a little while. I think that's what they're meant for. You know, so the fact of the matter that we're seeing all of this type of stuff, and we're seeing, you know, people actually being positive from the other side of the fence, that actually might quell some of the hate that Starfield got, because honestly, it was getting old. It was like right after the show, a lot of people who aren't even going to play Starfield had nothing, you know, couldn't stop talking about it, you know? So yeah, I do find it to be very interesting that this happened. Good on him for talking about it, and good on him for, you know, saying his mind, what's on his mind and things like that. Very awesome. And, you know, just bravo. You know, I'm excited for it. I'm sure a lot of you are as well. With that being said, I really am curious how you all feel about this. Let me know. Sound off, rate, comment, subscribe. Also, if you guys are new to the channel or not, whatever, and you enjoy my content, please leave a like on the video. It helps it to be seen and the channel to grow. Rack 'em up, back 'em up, Crap Gamer 'em up. Thank you for watching. Have a great day. Crap Gamer out.